Here's an AMI This Week shortcut with Lawrence Gunther.
The Ottawa River is over 1,200 kilometers long and provides over 2 million people in Ontario and Quebec with drinking water. Upstream, the Canadian Nuclear Laboratory on Chalk River has been the centre of Canadian nuclear innovation since 1944.
In 2018, the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission proposed to locate a nuclear waste site within a kilometre of the Ottawa River.
A controversial decision, to say the least. As a conservationist, I wanted to learn more, so I met with Elizabeth Logue, the Ottawa Riverkeeper, to learn about her organization and their petition to the federal government to strengthen Canada's nuclear safety policy.
And we are an advocacy non-for-profit group that works on various issues regarding the health of the Ottawa River watershed. So it could be threats, it could be benefits. We work on policy, we work on issues. So that's our role right here on the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. I am part Algonquin from this region, so I like to acknowledge that, and that's our work. We've been part of the Environmental Stewardship Council with regard to the Canadian Nuclear Laboratories since 2016. We have within the organization what we call River Watchers, and these are volunteers that are out there throughout the watershed, and there are quite a few in that area that have been monitoring the operations at Chalk River and the legacy of the nuclear waste that's been there since, the 50s and 60s and onward. We started to hear more about this near-surface disposal facility and tracking what the impact on the Ottawa River was. And so what we did discover there was that CNL was actually acknowledging that there are plumes of radioactive waste going into the water table and that they've been monitoring what the levels are. So by even acknowledging that there are plumes of radioactivity and acknowledging that there is no regulation or really sort of rules and regulations around what to do with that waste, to us really was a big red flag, and that we needed to monitor this.
In 2020, the Ottawa Riverkeeper urged the Canadian government to review the way nuclear safety issues are addressed in Canada. The nonprofit's campaign advocates that MPs develop a new policy for the disposal of non-fuel nuclear waste,
saying that the Government of Canada should enhance the policy and strategy for radioactive waste management.
We launched a campaign earlier this summer to really raise awareness with the public around the lack of policy framework or regulations around non-fuel nuclear waste. So we really focused on non-fuel nuclear waste because it's sort of that idea of you leave no trace. Well, here we are with a facility that is creating waste, and they are looking at burying it only a kilometer away from the shoreline, really. Even the International Atomic Energy Agency started to look at Canada's regulations and operations around what Canada's rules are around nuclear waste. So not just low-level nuclear waste, but we've been also looking at non-fuel nuclear waste. And I think the big issue there with this 10-year extension is that there's more time to do nothing. Our concern is also that the energy is not being put in the right areas to address how to deal with low-level nuclear waste and non-fuel nuclear waste. That's really the legacy of that Chalk River facility, which is going into the Ottawa River watershed, which is the drinking water of more than 2 million people.
2 million people, a concerning number for all, including members of First Nations tribal councils who are looking for clarification and consultation on the new nuclear waste disposal facility.
Their main concern has been a lack of consultation. Definitely this whole area is under a duty to consult with the federal government, and they feel that there hasn't been adequate consultation, especially on the duty to consult. And so they've raised a lot of different issues with regard to the environmental impact statement. At Ottawa Riverkeeper, we work with the First Nations, the Algonquins of Kitigan-Zibi, and the tribal council representatives to push on, making sure that environmental impact statement is adequate.
And how does the Ottawa Riverkeeper hope to lobby for a new, safer nuclear waste disposal policy?
We reached out to the community to say, please sign our not a petition, but really get in touch with your MP and let them know that you're concerned about this, that it's not going to be good for our children, our grandchildren, all species really, and for the generations to come if we haven't really figured out what to do with the waste that we created almost 40, 50 years ago. It's something that is a legacy for generations to come.
To learn more about what the Ottawa Riverkeeper is doing to keep the watershed safe, or to follow their petition to have the federal government strengthen their nuclear waste policy, visit ottawariverkeeper.ca.